this introduction. It gives me a great pleasure for me to extend my wishes to all the participants. The screen is visible. Is it viewable?
Yes, sir. Visible, sir.
Yeah.
Visible.
So the today topic is proposal writing for different funding agencies. So I start with here in this session only what are the different ideas or how will you write the funding agency proposals. Just we'll see the overview of that writing proposals. So whenever we talk about that proposal writing for any funding agency, here the no grant comes through without any proposal. To get a grant, you must write a good proposal. To write such a good proposal, you must read the call, call very well. Then only you will get the idea about what about that agency and other related detail about that agency. So whenever go for writing the proposals related to that funding agency, here the first the grant. The grant is nothing but it's a sum of money that awarded to the finance particular activities and not to be paid back. So it is important to understand the goal of the funding bodies and as well as and their grant program also. So whenever the decisions are made on the applicant's ability to fit the proposed research activity to the interest of the funding body. So the writing the proposals or writing a grant is like playing a game. So whenever go for playing a game, we are having some set of rules. So like that, whenever go for writing proposals or whenever go for writing any grant, we have to first we have to follow the rules by the rules. That is, we have to get the guidelines. We have to read the guidelines, and we have to follow the guidelines. Why? Because it is their money. So whenever go for writing any grant, we have to follow their guidelines. So use the key terms in your proposals that the funder used to describe what they want to fund. So that is the important and simplest idea. When I go for writing any grant, when I go for writing any funding, any proposals or anything, some important or mostly simplest idea is dream for the most important research idea you would like to do. That idea is something that only exists in our mind. So that it start from that. Next, the think of the simplest research idea you would easily implement it. So your task is to present the idea in a fundable proposal. So that is another thing. Third important idea is the simplest concept or the most powerful one. So take the simple idea and identify a specific problem or a need associated with it. So that is the introduction about that is when I go for writing the things. These are the important things. So we have to get the guidelines, we have to read the guidelines, and we have to follow their guidelines. So these three important rules, like playing a game. So we'll start. I will start with the session. Uh, yeah. So why this topic? Why actually today's topic is that writing proposals for the different funding agencies. Why this topic is important in nowadays? So whenever the project proposal is an undertaking that's a short term and it has some definite objectives and some well-defined input as well as the outputs, and also it specifies the objective realization within the specified cost and quality. That is a very important thing. So that is a primary concern about that thing. So the project proposal should be the definite objectives and it well defined input as well as the output, and also this proposals specify the objective realization within the specified cost and quality. So that is a very important thing. So when I go for that focusing about the grant, just I am relating the research proposals with the research. So nowadays, everybody have done our research work. So after the research, how we are relating? What is the relationship between the research proposals and the research? Is nothing but the research proposal is a plan, but whereas in research is a action. So just the research proposal, just we are making a plan, But after making that plan, we are with the help of that research, we are doing that action. So we are performing that action. So first point, first the difference between the research proposals and research. The research proposal is a plan and research is an action. Second important thing, the research proposal is a compulsory for approving the proposed research. So based on the proper research, we are getting the research proposals. So that is the thing. The research proposal is a compulsory for approving proposed research. Third important thing, the research proposal is a schedule and research is an activity. So already with the help of the research proposal or research grant, we are making a schedule. That schedule will be that is based on the activity. So that is come under that research. So the research proposal is a schedule and research is an activity. Fourth important thing, the research proposal is a mirror of research. So that is a very important. So research and research proposals are somewhat is a related terms. So the next important thing, the research proposal is a, we may say it's a blueprint of the research work, a blueprint of the research. And finally, the research proposal can serve as a document of the contract for the particular project. So that is the thing. So why nowadays the research budgets are shrinking everywhere. So we are in need of research grant or research proposals. So second important thing, the researchers are being forced to seek the external funding. So to for that purpose, we are all the way we are talking or all the way we are making about that research grant or research proposals. Third important thing, but writing a good research grant proposal is not an easy. But it's like once you got an idea about that, what are the important or what are the important keywords to be followed when I go for writing such a proposal, it's very easy to make it. And fourth important thing, to help you gain insight into the way the decision makers assess and evaluate such any research proposals, so like that. So that's why we go for this topic. So nowadays everywhere we are talking about the research grant, and that's why this seminar will be useful for you. So fact about grant writing. So what are the different facts? So what are the some truth or some facts about the grant writing in the sense? First, a best way to never get a grant is don't write one. So just keep on write the things. So that is the first facts about a grant writing is the best way to never get a grant is a don't write one. Second, in the sense, the best way to get a grant is nothing but is a follow the instructions. That is very very important. So based on that instruction, easily will can get the grant approval. Third important thing, where shall I begin? So the beginning of the proposals, it start with that is the beginning at the beginning and stop when you get to the end, like that. Fourth important thing, when something can be read without effort, that great effort has gone into its writing alone. So that is a thing. It's given that this quotation is given by the Enric JP. So these are different facts about that grant writing, the proposal writing. So this is a thing. So what are the different kinds of grants? So when I go for focusing about the different kinds of grants, so before writing for the proposals or any grant, before writing, first identify the sponsor agency and relate you and your employer's interest to the sponsor's current interest. So just we have to relate these two things: employer's interest as well as the sponsor's interest. So based on that, you go ahead with that different sponsors. So that is under the different kinds of grant. So sponsors may be DST, DBT, we may say the IGAR, CSIR. So many different sponsors are there. So based on that sponsors, you can relate with your employers' interest as well as the sponsors' interest. So have their own priority areas, and the project should broadly fall into one of the sponsors' current priority area for the funding. So most of the sponsors nowadays are encouraging the multidisciplinary as well as the multi-institutional projects also. So that also you can carefully go through it. So each sponsor agency has set the procedures for screening, evaluation, and granting of the particular project. So that is also everything is given in that guideline itself. So just will go through that guideline, so they easily will get the idea about that also. So an insight into this helps in making the project proposals accordingly. So the different kind of grants may be the research grant, or it may be a seminar or workshop grant, or the training program grant, a fellowship grant, and a travel grant, and a publication grant. So these are some of the different grants are there. So the first is research grant is some of the difficult tasks to making it. The remaining thing is based on the seminar, training, fellowship, travel, and publication. So many different kinds of grants are there. So mainly we are focusing about the research grant alone. So remaining thing is somewhat easy to make it. So these are the different kinds of grants. So whenever we go for the parts of the grant application, so what are the important? See, in this this is an important topic in this session. So here in this session only we are focusing about what are the different parts of grant applications. So what are the whenever go for writing this such a grant, what are the things to be considered based on the that guidelines. So that is mainly focusing in this presentation. So whenever go for focusing about the parts of the grant application, here everything, every grant that is based on the science only. So apart from that science, here science is not everything, but there is a high investment in research also. So you can find the money you need, and apart from that, the science is not everything. So the grant writing is both a science as well as we may say as an art also. So the grant writing is a science as well as art. So when I go for that writing, the part of the grant application, so start with the title and followed by the abstract and summary. And after abstract and summary, we are having some literature survey is there. So based on that literature survey, that is the next problem or need statement, the problem statements. Next, under that we have to all the way we have to define the goals and objectives of that problem statement with that proposals, and what are the methodology we are following, and project management, what type that the project management, and what are the quality of key personnel and institution. There is altogether project management. Under that for project management, we may say that personnel as well as the institution quality. Next, the evaluation plan is there, and dissemination plan, that is action plan. Evaluation plan, after evaluation plan, we go with the action plan, that is a dissemination plan. Then different references. So where we cited all the information. So all that information, all that things will be cited under the references part. So next, budget. So what are the different budget, and how we are narrated that budget and other things. And under the appendices, we some applicants CV will be there, and apart from that, some forms and some certification will be added with that grant proposals. So these are the parts. So these are a very important thing. So the depends on the agency, the part, the grant part will be varying, but it's a common thing. Title, abstract, summary, problem statement, goals and objective, methodology, project management, and institutional quality, evaluation and action plan, references, and some appendices. So these are some of the parts of grant application. So whenever the title, so whenever go for focusing about the title, so the title it gives a first impression of our proposal, and hence it has to be catchy, and it's to be small, as well as it conveys some information. That is, it should be informative format. So that is the thing. It's a three important keyword. Whenever go for making the title, the three important, it should be a catch. It should be catchy, and it should be small, and it should be informative one. So these three important keyword. So it shall not be same as objective. The title should not be as objective. It has to be shorter, but at the same time it indicate broadly what is being attempted. So what actually in particular grant, what are the things we are carrying out? So that should be adopted, or that should be attempted in that title itself. So that is the followed by the title. So the title may be in the form of some example. Here, the development of efficient, the low cost, easy to use the sensors for estimation of pH, moisture, macro and micronutrients, organic matter, etc. for and spot soil fertility analysis like that. So another one thing that design of automated hybrid classification system for diagnosis and training of autism disorder, design and development of an unified expert system for horticultural plant health management. So like that. So these are some of the title is given. So the title should be catchy, it should be small, and it should be in form of informative one. It should be informative. So these three important keywords we have to follow whenever go for making the title for the particular grant proposal. So, and followed by, after the title, we are having the literature survey, that is a literature review. So, all the way, the literature searching is very, very important thing. So, whenever go for searching or whenever go for the making that such a literature survey, we will get whether the idea, our idea is novel or not. So, we have to ask the questions: are your ideas novel? So the sources may be academic literature or some sort of gray literature, some white papers or something like that. So where are the research gaps? So that is a very important thing. So that is a whenever you are a critical thinker, in that case, this research gap is easily identified. So once you identify such a research gap, automatically that particular grant will be the proposals will be it's a good one and it's a perfect one. So that is the thing. So you can integrate and synthesize the existing literature. So nothing is perfect. So you have to illustrate some potential issues you may encounter and how you deal with them. So that also you can get it from that literature survey. So whenever go for writing such a thing, such a literature survey or such a grant proposals, here we may say three C's. Three C is an important thing in the research writing. The first C is a clear. The idea or that research proposal should be clear. C. Second C is a coherent, and third one is a compelling. It's a competitive one. So these three C: clear, coherent, and compelling. So these three C is very important thing when I go for the research writing. So that is a title. So I will repeat once again the title. When I go for writing the title should be a catchy, and it should be informative, and it should be small like that. So that is the first part of grant application. Second part is a problem statement. Second part is a problem statement. So whenever we go for making such a problem statement, we have to ask the question why. We have to state the problem. What is the problem? Why we are taking such a problem like that? So we have to state the problem, and we have to state the known. So what are the known things related to that problem? So we have to take that second part is a state the known. Third thing, we have to describe the gap. So what are the gaps are there, and we have to fill that gap. Why we have to fill this gap in this problem statement like that. So that is a important thing. So whenever we go for making the problem statement, these four questions: why, state the problem, state the known, describe the gap, and why fill this gap. So like that. So why we are asking that question why like that. So based on that question why, we are making the problem statement. So the problem statement, it make a compelling case why you should be funded, first point. Second, what is the idea or problem I want to examine or address? So that is also you have to indicate. Third, why is it important and it's to whom? So who are the end users or who are the users for such a thing? So who are facing the problem for that statement like that. That is also all the way we have to indicate why is it important and to whom, and what related research or related project has been done before and why is mine different and needed. So that is also, so that's all the way we have to take that question. So when I go for making the problem statement, these four question is very important. So based on these four questions, we have to write your problem statement. So that is the second important part in the problem that thing. So apart from that, the first sentence is a problem, and then the clarity the problem by defining both the behavior and what is normal, and state that this is a pressing need which is hopefully the need the funder is addressing. So that is the thing. So whenever the grant is not an idea, it is a plan. So the grant is not an idea, it is a plan that should convince yourself and your team as well as your institution, and then go with your finder. So that is the thing. So whenever go for writing any grant, so whenever go for making such a problem statement, the problem statement is a plan that should convince yourself and your team as well as your institution. Then only you go with the finder, that is who is providing the funder for that thing. So that is a thing. So next, we have to make it. Next, third important part of goals and objectives. So the goals and objective, here we have to ask the question what. So what about the goal or what are the objectives we are making it? So when I go for writing such a goal and objective, be bold as well as, but it should be a realistic format. So that is a very important thing. When I go for making goals and objective, the goals and objective, it should be a bold as well as it's a realistic. So that is the thing. It flows logically from the statement of need. So from the problem statement, we have to include all the goals and objectives and convey the ultimate intent of the proposed project. So that is also you have to inform it. The next, state the essence of the proposed work in terms of what will be accomplished. So that is also state the essence of the proposed work in terms of what will be accomplished. So that also we have to give it in the goals and objective uh, part. Break the goal down to specific measurable pieces, the outcome of which can be measured to determine actual accomplishment. So that is also. So these are the different parts. So these four points have to be considered whenever go for making such a goals and objectives. So next is a methodology. So whenever go for this is a very important thing. Whenever go for the methodology, so that methodology these describe how the objectives will be achieved. So already we are making some goal and objectives. So with the help of that methodology, how these objectives will be achieved. So that flow directly from the objectives. So whenever we go for the methodology, this methodology should be addresses how will data be generated or collected. So what type of data, what type of methodology we are using it, and what type of analytical techniques to be used for making such a thing, and what are the sequence of procedures we are following, what are the sequence of procedures we are following. So that should be addressed in that methodology part. So that is the thing. So whenever go for the methodology, it's allotted the most points, and it's often poorly written. So that's why whenever the methodology is poorly written, so 40% of the proposals are turned down because of this poorly written. So methodology should be addresses how the data be generated and collected, and what are the different analytical techniques. What are the analytical techniques to be used, and what are the sequence of procedures. So that should be neatly written. So if it's poorly written, then automatically that the proposal will be rejected. So that is the thing. So the next third important thing, the most detailed and lengthy section of activity, that also will be given in that methodology part, and it should be a task oriented, specific oriented, and detailed also. So apart from that, it demonstrates all the steps necessary to complete the project, including the management. So that is the thing. So as per the methodology, we are having two different types of methodology. One is a subjective. When I go for the taking the data, when I go for collecting the data, that methodology may be a subjective format or it may be objective format. So under the subjective format, we may use the interviews or some sort of questionnaires or some sort of discussion or some sort of survey. So with the help of that, we may collect the data that under the category of subjective. Next, second methodology is objective methodology. So the objective methodology, all the way we have to conduct the experimental way. So with the help of that experimental way, we are collecting the information or we collected the data. Second thing, use of some measuring devices or as well as use of some recording devices. So that is the objective one. So under the methodology, two different methodologies are there: subjective as well as subjective and objective. So based on your proposal, you can choose either which type of methodology is suitable for your project, either subjective or objective one. So that is the thing. So next, project management and key personnel. So what are the how we are making the project management and key proposal. So whenever we go for that thing, that demonstrate that you are the right person to do this project. So we have to demonstrate that. The second thing, convince the funding agency that you are capable of accomplishing what you say. So that also we have to convince during the presentation or even in the writing itself. So they highlight the expertise and experience of all key personnel. So that indicate the responsibilities of all and level of effort like that. So that is the thing. So that is a project management and key personnel. Next, what is the institutional management? So how the institution is related with the funding agency when I go for writing such a funding thing. So why should the award be made to your institutions that is experienced in managing similar projects like that? Highlight the institution's capability, relations of the project to mission, and capacity to manage a project. So these are some of the institutional highlights of that institution. So based on that also we may get that fund like that. So next, the evaluation plan. So that is a very, very important thing. So whenever I go for the evaluation plan, it should address both process as well as the outcome, and it tell who will be the evaluators and how they will be chosen, and define the evaluation design. So the evaluation design maybe use the logical or result framework. So that is one of the evaluation design. Next, the plan to evaluate the achievement of each objective. So the based on that objective, we have to plan to evaluate and each objectives, and describe the data collection and analysis method indicate. That is the thing. So already told you in the methodology itself. So we have to describe the data collection, what type of data collection, either subjective or objective. So that analysis method indicate how evaluation finding will be used. So that is a very important thing in the evaluation plan. So that is the thing. So next is the describe the evaluation reports to be produced. So next, action plan. That is a dissemination plan. So as per the action plan, here the action plan it will actually will ask the following question. So we have to that whether our proposal or whether our grant having the following question: how will you make the research results available to others? And describe your that dissemination plan and the target audiences, and consider the websites, publications, presentations, and conferences, training and education and public outreach, etc. So these are the dissemination plan. So next we have to indicate all the references. So references list all the references cited in the proposal. That's the thing. So next, very important thing, budget. So the budget is nothing but the quantitative expressions of a financial plan for the future expenses on the project in a given period of time. So it should be that budget is a quantitative expressions of a financial plan. So when I go for the budget, it demonstrates the required cost for the proposed project, and a prediction of the expenses. So what are the expenses? We are having some that two different. I will see it, and serves as a plan for the funders and how the research team will operate the project, and important for accountability. Right. So the budget having it's a direct cost. Here the direct cost has two things: recurring expenses and non-recurring expenses. So the recurring expenses may be consumable, subject compensation, publication charges, and some physicians fee like that. So it's a mandatory. It's not a mandatory one. Second thing is a non-recurring expenses. So the one time in nature. So do not recur at a regular interval. It's some equipment cost and some software cost also belongs to the non-recurring expenses. Electrical and some electronic item and some instrument and its accessories. So these are the whenever go for focusing about the budget, these two recurring costs as well as the non-recurring expenses should be indicated in that budget. So that is the thing. So whenever go for that, after writing such a grant, we have to ask a question. So we have to seek answers to the following questions. The first question: what are the current trends? What are the current limitations and restrictions? And what subject area were awarded funding recently? So what are the future plans for of the funder? Who are the decision makers or assessors? And what review process do they follow? So these are some of the questions we have to ask. We have to get the answer from that guidelines itself. So we have to all the way you have to collect the information. Then it's easy for you. Easy for you. Then apart from that, what are the deadlines for the submission, and how long it will take the process, and what is the proper way to approach them, and how many people apply each year, and what percentage of the grant is getting. And most answers can be found on the funding body's website or research guide or annual report or some future plans. So these are some of the questions we have to ask, and we have to get the answer from that that guidelines. Then it's easy for you. And apart from that, some points to be remembered. So when I go for writing such a grant or such a proposal, some points to be remembered. So the funding bodies look for the good researchers, and think of them as potential investors in you and your ideas. That's very important. You must sell your idea. So in that, be enthusiastic about the work. So next, why should they give a grant? So see it from the funder's point of view. So whether that grant is suitable for their problem statement or like that. So for that we have to give that grant. So why should they give a grant? And remember that you are not begging at all. So just whatever you want, just write it, and that automatically based on your writing skill itself, easily you may sell your idea. So you have an idea, but they have money. So that's the thing. That's that. So you have the idea that the idea will be given to them. Then they are providing money. So for making such a research like that. So you have idea and they have money like that. So you and the funders are both professionals coming together for a specific purpose and get to know the relevant people in the funding body and get the help of finance office on matters relating to the staff cost, travel, overhead, etc. So that will get it from the finance office and seek the professionals' advice on confidentiality, possible restrictions on the publications, liabilities, and the disputes, etc. So another thing, the 10 most common grant seeking mistakes. So what are the mistakes we are making it? So whenever go for writing the things, what are the mistakes we are making it? The first mistake, the writing the proposal is not succinct, that it's for the intelligible or resulting in a proposal that doesn't make the sense. So that it should be a short, it should be a perfect manner like that, cut and short, it should be a clear manner like that. But whenever it's not a clear, then automatically it will be rejected. So the cost for the technology items are inaccurate. So that is also very important. That's why we have to what touch with that current trend or current technology. Then only easily we can identify what about the current trend or current technology. So the cost for the technology items are inaccurate or in the worst case scenario or inflated. So never guess at the cost of an item. That's the thing. So third one, no one proofreads the proposal before it is submitted. So and the proposal contains some typographical or some grammatical error also. So to avoid, just to avoid such a thing. And next, the budget does not match the narrative, and the reviewer sees the cost on the budget pages. They are not mentioned or explained in the narrative manner. So that is also the next fifth one, the objective cannot be measured because they are too vague and open to the individual interpretation in terms of success or failure also. So that is these are some five common mistakes we are making it. The sixth one, a reasonable amount of time is not allotted to develop a project idea and to write the proposal. So that automatically results in a sloppy or incomplete document also. So next, seventh one, assumption is made that the reviewers are expert in the subject area and they understand the jargon or acronyms without explanation. So never ever that you use that acronyms. So if it's so, then you can explain such a thing also. So the proposal is full of buzzwords and offers a little or no substance also. So for ninth one, the writer ignores the instruction in the request for the proposal and violate the rules and directions it specifies. And finally, the funders are selected because they have money, not because there is a close fit between the project idea and the funders' interest. So these are the some of the mistakes we are making it when I go for writing the proposal. So once we avoid such a thing, easily we can get the fund. So these are the different funding agencies and links are there. So DSTT, PDU, CSI, DRDO. So different funding agencies and links are provided. And finally, so whenever go for the writing such a grant or such a proposal, dream, innovate, create, disseminate, and think outside the box. So then cover all the components and be the meticulous. So that is the whenever go for writing, it should be a proofread. It should be that error-free, that nonsensical sentences. So like that. So that should be avoided. So that is the thing. So the be passionate about your research. So automatically you can get that thing. So that's a good luck with your research proposals. Thank you. Hello.
Thank you, sir. Thanks
Yeah.
for your wonderful
Yes.
presentation, sir. Now
Yes.
it is open to all the audience. If there is any questions related to the project proposal, you can type it in your Q&A or you can talk with the expert.